Hello, friends. Let me move that out of the way. Hi. Good evening. How is everybody today? Let me go ahead and get us going. It is Monday evening, and tomorrow is my first day back at work after summer break, so I'm a little bit Sunday scaries, but I think about an hour of drawing time will be really good for me. It'll be really helpful. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you? I'm so glad to see you here. Yeah, I'm going to be going back to school tomorrow, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. But I'm trying to stay positive and trying to enjoy my evening so that way I can go into school tomorrow, in good spirits, excited, let's say. So today we're going to be drawing a bunch of images that I kind of picked from Pinterest, and these are all kind of inspired by this like dark academia like aesthetic. So I think that this is going to make for a really beautiful sketchbook spread because the imagery is just really beautiful. Oh, thank you. That was one of the tempera paintings I did in my classroom with my students. So I just it's been sitting there and I like it. It's like I make a ton of stuff every day when I'm teaching, but there's sometimes I like a painting, so I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep that, and then I want to frame it or hang it up or something. I haven't done that yet. It's just sitting there waiting. I think for like at least this whole year. So we'll see when it finally makes its way onto my wall. But yeah, so I have all these images selected, and if you are on the Patreon, you'll also see that I posted those photos there, and I think that they're going to be helpful over there because they're a little hard to see when I post them up here. You'll see them in a bit, and if you've been to one of my live streams before, you kind of know how that works. So I have a little secondary device right here. I have my iPad, and I have the images open for my viewing, and I'm also going to be working with markers and Tombow water-based markers. And I also have color pencil here, the Prisma Indigo, Elizabeth, and my favorite pencil. I have a white gel pen, but I'm finding that this is not working really well for me as of late. So I don't know if I'm going to use it. And I also have this jumbo acrylic marker. It's a Montana marker. Just in case, I don't know if I need to bring in some whites. I have some other color pencils handy too. And I don't know, today I was drawing with them and I did bring in some colors that I don't usually bring in. So maybe I just want to have them accessible. So they're here if I need them and want them. And yeah, so let's go ahead and switch over. I will share my camera with you and then we will get some drawing going. So I'll also show you what I'm going to be using, everything that I'm going to be using, my sketchbook, yada, yada, all that fun stuff. Okay, so let's see. Where's my drawing camera? Okay, so that's this little guy right here. That's sometimes in my way. That's definitely in my way. See, if I put it too low, might not show everything. I think I'll leave it like that. It's a little close, but at least I can see if I do that. And I have my images right here. So again, I've got a variety of different colors here, and I'll try to share with you the number of the color when I use it because, I was drawing with these earlier today. So I just kind of left them out thinking, well, maybe I'll use them again today. I don't think I used these. I'm going to put those to the side. I do think I used that gray one. So this is really the palette that I had earlier, which I really enjoyed. I did this as a little example earlier, and it was surprisingly hard. One of the things I noticed is, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this photo right here, that I grabbed this from Pinterest, right? To give you kind of like just an idea of the aesthetic. And I really feel like this is very you, Elizabeth. I don't know. It really gave me like an Elizabeth feel to it. This very like academic kind of library vibe. This image is really beautiful, and I feel like it really kind of captures the style that I want it to convey. But when I started drawing it, I noticed, I think it's like AI, because look at this chair. Like, what's happening here? and there's like some missing things. Like there's some things that appear and then they don't quite finish, or something funny happened with the photo here. So I think this is like an AI image, or I don't know. You tell me what you think. But this was just kind of like a way to kind of get an idea of what the whole like dark academia aesthetic kind of refers to. The photos that I have selected are also just from Pinterest, and I chose them because I thought they had some interesting elements that we can kind of pull from. So if you want to draw just the cup in one drawing session, you could do that one, or just the candle, or just the pumpkin. And I feel like this is a really good segue into fall, which is where we're headed. I like this one because I really like the stack of books here, and I drew that one earlier, but there's little pieces that maybe you want to draw that little bottle there, or some of these little photos on the wall. That could be interesting too. I picked this one because I really like the style, like the entire outfit, right? So a lot of like plaid tweed kind of look. Yes, it's totally AI, right? Yeah, the light. Oh, I didn't see the lights on the ceiling. Let's go back and look at that. Yeah, oh yeah. They tried. Computer tried to do that. Bad. Look at the face right there too. I mean, I know perspective, but like honestly, geez. It's so funny. The rug looks kind of wrinkly and weird too. Like, I was like, what is going on here? And I didn't really notice any of this until I started to really look at it. So, go figure. Okay. So I really like the outfit here, and I think for the first drawing that I did, I just focused on the shoes, but you could draw the whole figure if you want to, or skip that one if you don't want to. And then I really like this image. This was like on Pinterest, something where it's like dark academia stickers, like digital stickers that you could like, I don't know. I don't think they were like stickers, but they're like, you could use them on your slides or whatever. And I thought this is perfect because it has a lot of different little separate elements, and you can kind of just pick the ones you want and put them where you want them in your composition, wherever they fit. Yeah, the front leg was missing on that chair, right? I know, I thought that was so weird. And I, again, didn't notice it till I started drawing. And I was like, wait a second. And so maybe this one is too, because I haven't really like looked at this one. I think this one looks a little bit more, I don't know. You just never know when you're going to find something that will be that little telltale sign. But I really like this one because I like the chair, and I'm kind of like fond of drawing chairs, especially like kind of like lived in chairs. So I might draw that, but maybe you'll just draw some of the books, or maybe you want to draw the globe. I just really appreciate being able to choose from like images that have a lot of stuff going on. Like pick the things you want to draw that. So these are the images that I've already selected, and they'll be right here next to me, and you can have them visible on the screen, which will look something like this. Here's the first one that I chose, that one. So it's a little bit small, and so that's why it's kind of a little bit helpful to have them nearby. I'm going to be drawing here, and I'll try to be really conscious of like where I'm drawing and how I'm moving the camera around, because like the camera has to be pretty close right now for me to be able to see like the screen, so I could see your chat. So if it's too close or if it's too far away, just let me know. I have some water nearby me. I was gonna make like I would love it if you all would tell me on the chat, what are you drinking? What cozy beverage did you bring? Because I really wanted like a nice cozy coffee, and I can't drink coffee at night anymore. It is really tragic. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this. For me, it happened like overnight. Like I became super sensitive. I think with old age, I'm super sensitive now to caffeine. And if I have coffee like past noon, no, I can't. I can't even have like a soda. I can't have a caffeinated drink at all. I don't even think I can have chocolate. Like I can't have any caffeine because I will be tossing and turning all night. I don't know if that happens to you all. I just have basic water, but I'm actually pretty thirsty, so that's perfect. Orange Crush soda, classic. Have you tried the dirty sodas, Elizabeth? Like that whole like Utah thing. I mean, I'm not super familiar with it, but I see it on TikTok. And I think an orange crush soda would be great with like a splash of like vanilla creamer. That's because caffeine has a half-life of 12 hours. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And for me, oh, sorry. For me, I find that I don't get like an immediate like caffeine boost. It's usually a little bit delayed for me. So I feel like I need to drink another one. And then, 2 hours later, I'm like running a marathon. I wish. But, I'm going wild. Like the other day, I just really couldn't like lay still in my bed at night. And it was driving me crazy. So I just wanted to go to bed. And I was just kicking and thrashing. I was just so like fidgety. And I just don't want that ever again. So I'm trying not to have any coffee. Oh, I wish I could have some chocolate. Yeah, and I was starting to think like, oh, maybe I could like invent like a sleepy kind of chocolate, like a hot chocolate that had like maybe I was thinking of putting like so this is what I was thinking. This was my plan. I was gonna put coconut milk powder, cocoa powder, but I think that has caffeine, right? And then ashwagandha or something like relaxing, maybe something that's gonna make you fall asleep. I don't know. I wish I could find something like that. Okay, because I love a cozy beverage, but I mean, what do you have? What can you have? Like that's not caffeinated. Give me suggestions. I would love that. Okay. So, I really do want to work on drawing with timers. So, and it's just because I want to try to like, I don't want to say force myself, but I really want to work loose. I feel like I've been like really going through a struggle of being very tight with my drawings. And I think that working with timers, sometimes it's hit or miss. Like you could have some big failures with timers. But I think it helps me to loosen up. So let's start with some warm-ups. So I'm going to keep this picture up here and I'm going to do like a few warm-ups. Let's do like maybe 3 or 4, very fast warm-ups of different sections from the same image. So I think maybe I'll draw the chair and then I'll draw the lamp and then I'll draw the globe and then maybe I'll draw some books and we'll just keep them really short just to warm up. I want to stay again loose, but I really want to draw that chair, and I think that chair is going to need a lot of time. But we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Thank you. Tisane. I'm not sure what that is, Elise. Can you elaborate? Tisane, is that like tea or like a drink? Okay. So I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock. And I do recognize that if you are drawing, that it might be hard for you to chat, and that's okay if you can't chat with me. If you want to just focus on drawing, that's cool too. If you want to just watch and chat, that's awesome. I would love to chat with you. Herbal tea. Oh, okay. I think that's what I need to have too. I had today an herbal tea that was called dandelion, or like a dandelion tea. Okay, so the timer is going, so I'm just going to draw while we chat. I'm going to try drawing while we chat, but this is actually, I'm already feeling like my brain is like, what? My brain is struggling. She doesn't understand what's happening with this chair. Yeah, I had something, it was so good. It was, it's called dandelion, roasted dandelion tea or something. And it was essentially, it called it like, it was on the package. It said it's like an herbal coffee. And it tasted very coffee. I mean, it didn't taste like coffee, but it had a coffee kind of vibe. It felt kind of like you were having coffee, even though clearly it wasn't. And it was tea, and it was without any caffeine. But I mean, I kind of sometimes feel like coffee is such a big part of my identity. Like, I don't think I could. Like, what do you do when you can't drink coffee anymore? Like, sad. Like, what do I do? How do I keep being me? I'm sure there is a way. I just, I just don't want to give it up. Like, I don't want to stop drinking coffee. I just love it so much. Now, I've already decided that clearly I'm not going to be cut out for drinking it at night, but I think I can maybe drink it during the day, in the morning. I just didn't have any today because, again, I was scared of. I just don't want to be up all night, especially like when I have to get up early for school tomorrow. Totally something different if you don't have to worry about that. But now I'm joining the world of working just like everybody else, so it's time to get back to reality, huh? So we'll see how we do. We have 3 minutes left on the clock. And again, I'm just going to try to be loose with this as much as I can, because I have been struggling with being a little bit tight in my drawings. Oh, I love that, Elise. Tisane. I wish I could hear you say it so I could like really relish that the French, because I'm sure I'm just not saying it as beautiful as it sounds in French to say the herbal tea. Okay, so very, very loose. I don't know if I really want to use any other colors right now. I just kind of want to sketch and see what I can do. A lot of darkness down here. We have 2 minutes left on the clock. I really like the colors though. I'm starting to think that green is my new favorite color for now. I tend to go through like phases. I mean, I love pink. Pink is probably always going to be like my favorite color. But I do love some green right now. It's like literally not even what is in this image. Let's put a little bit of value on there. I'll use like a light gray just to kind of mark where the darks would go. This is actually pretty terrible. Now I did want to use a little bit of my pencil. So if I have about a minute left, I like to come back, bring my pencil in, and use that to define some of the lines. We'll see how that works out. I brought my extender today because I have about 25 almost done pencils, and they're all just like in various states of completion, so they are pretty small to work with. And I finally went into my little pencil jar and found the little extender. So if you love to use a pencil till it's long gone, highly recommend you grab a little extender. These pencil extenders are very helpful when you have a pencil that is getting close to its final days. Oop, time's almost up. It's right about to be up. There we go. That was time. Okay. So very rough. I kind of hate it, but that's okay. Another 5 minutes. Let's do the little lamp. So 5 minutes on the clock. I put 6 on the first one just because I was still yakking and thought maybe in case you wanted another one. So I'm going to leave this same image up. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just in case you're not looking at Patreon. And I'm going to pick the little lamp next. So next item I'm going to draw will be the lamp. I don't know if I should put it right here next to it. I feel like that's a little too on the nose. But I'm just going to go over the seam if I need to. I'm going to try to do a little bit less lines and more more shape. So instead of just relying so much on line like I did in the chair, I'd like to rely a little bit more on the shapes of the forms instead of just the lines. Although with the lamp that is basically a line, it's hard to do that. Okay, there's some lights. So I'm going to call this my light right there, and then I can start to build in some darker values. So let's see if I can develop this a little bit. There's a lot of dark back here. Just looking at those darks and at those lights here. I'm trying to record some of them. Yes, no worries, Elizabeth. Sorry if I didn't see it like fast enough, but try to keep my eye on there, and sometimes I miss it. We have about 2.5 minutes, so we're doing good on time here. I love drawing metal things. I don't know if everybody loves that, but I love to draw things that have a lot of like highlights and midtones. I think it can be like really fun. Usually I like to have a little bit more time to do it than 5 minutes, but it's always fun to see what you can do in a short amount of time. And again, it's just practice, so you don't have to be perfect all the time. It's funny because it's kind of like really round here, and then on this side it's very dark, so you can't really see all of that edging, and so it doesn't really look round there. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. Sorry. So it looks kind of funny, but I think it totally went crooked there too. Okay. So I have like that one. We have about a minute left, so let me, at 1 minute, I like to try to bring in my pencil. If I'm using it, and if I'm not, that's fine, but the minute mark is where I start to say like, okay, well, I'm almost out of time, so what do I need to do? What are the last things that I feel like I have to include? And usually with my drawings, if I've chosen to do pencil in there, this will be the time when I decide to come back in with some pencil. I like to put in a nice dark like shadow where the object sits, like sometimes like this bottom one, but something just to create that sense of like weight, like volume, like it's sitting on a surface. There is some complexity here. Not quite sure what's happening on this lamp, but I'm just gonna draw what you see, not what you think you see. Or not what you think it should be. Okay. So like 5 minutes. And then we'll do one more on this one. I think I'm gonna do the globe. I just really wish it was flipped the other way. It's okay. It's fine. 5 minutes. Let's do another one on this one. You can pick something else. You don't have to do the globe. I'm going to do the globe because it's, you know, big, and I think will make for a good study. But you can pick a different object. You can pick books, or the little cup that's on the side table. I think that's a good one to draw too. Ugh, I hate symmetry. So hard, like trying to get everything to be even. It's like I'm just trying to like kind of lay that out so I can try my best to get it like that. We'll see. This would be something like this. I think it's more like that. So I'm going to just imply this. I remember a time when I used to draw like really fast when we would do these like time drawing sessions, and I just don't know how I know that I've fallen out of practice from that just because I don't do it, but it's so small, like I feel like this is disproportionate, but it's okay. But I do think like having practice would be really good for me. I think I need to bring that back into my daily practices, drawing faster, because there's just like a looseness that my drawings get when I do that. It's not necessarily because I want to race or anything like that. I just want my drawings to not look very you know, like labored. Like I don't like them to look like I worked really like tight, or I like them to have a little bit of like a playfulness to them. I like them to feel, to look and seem a little bit more like casual. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but definitely looking for that, striving for that in my drawing is something that I'm always doing. I think when I was younger, I was always drawing very tight and feeling like the more I did, the better. But I always, and even when I was younger, I remember always feeling like I always took things too far. Like I just went too far. I'm so sorry, Kenner. I just saw your message. I think you were talking about this one right here, right? So I'm over here now. I hope that I'm better for you now. I'll leave it like this. That well-loved pencil is the Prismacolor Indigo color pencil. So it's just a basic color pencil. It looks normally like this. The Prismacolor Premier. I don't know if my camera wants to pick that up, but this one right here, it's 901 and it's an indigo blue, and that's what I use quite a bit. And so I'll usually take them all the way to the studs. I like to use them just for kind of like outlining stuff. I like to use them to add texture. I like that I can, you know, press on it really hard and get a crispy line, but I also really like to like kind of shade with it, so you get a variety of line quality by doing that. So this does have a little bit of like shine on it too. I'm gonna do a little bit of this darker. There's only 1 minute left, so I guess this is the time to bring in the pencil. Nice sharp line there, nice edge. I did that little bit of blue in there, which I'm enjoying right now. Okay, and then I have the blue of my pencil here. So I like being able to do this kind of like scribbly stuff here. And then combine it with those really crisp lines there. Like those crispy lines and soft textury lines. Time is up. I was gonna just give a warning, but here we go. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that there. Okay, so that's another 5 minutes. How do you guys feel? Do you want to do, can we do one more 5-minute? I think I'd like to do another one, and then I'd like to move to a different page for drawing a little bit more. I think if I do one more, oh, you know what I think I want to draw is those little tassels. Do you see these little guys right here? I mean, it's a little vague, but I think I want to draw that. But I also like the idea of doing some of these little books, so maybe focus on some of the books for another one. This is really hard to kind of make out, so I probably wouldn't do that, but yeah, let's do one more. Or like the pillow would be a good one too, but I already kind of drew it. I don't really want to draw. I'm gonna draw that. I don't really know exactly like what's happening there, but I'm gonna probably end up making up some of them. Yes, come back next time. Thank you, Dustcatcher. No problem. Thank you. Yes, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I know that, you know, I mostly just post these on Patreon, so you're going to find me there. But if you haven't yet, it would be helpful to me if you were to subscribe to my channel. So I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Quick water break and one more final warm-up. 5 minutes on the clock for a vague little rough tassel. I'm just going to, you know, I don't really know what this is, so I just assume it's sort of a tassel, so I'm just gonna let it be really rough. And I kind of bumped into the chair, so whenever I do that, I just draw behind usually. So that's a little tip for you in case you are encountering a similar situation. Just put one in the front, put one in the back if they accidentally bump into each other. Yeah, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't know what kind of tassel this is, but there's like, I don't know what this fabric is. Probably like a fabric of some sort that is holding this together. And then this is like some bulky, like thick fringe. It kind of looks like it would be like leather or something. It's got a really hard line on the bottom. Bring it right behind the other one. Actually, feel like whatever this thingy is, right now it's becoming my favorite drawing. Which is weird. I don't know what this is, like the little hook that it's like sitting on or hanging on. I can't quite make it out, so I can see it on this side, but not really in between here. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it like that. It just kind of looks like pudgy, like chunky. Yeah, I'm drawing the tassel. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Yes, drawing the tassel. Oh, did you enjoy the summer creative retreat, Kenner? Thank you. I know I was so like, it was so funny when I didn't know when to stop, and then Peggy was trying to tell me to stop, but I couldn't hear because I had muted it during the. It was funny. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you were there, that you were able to see it. I really wish I had been able to finish the drawing because I was just talking too much. But live and learn for next time. Yes, this is the tassel, Elizabeth, or what I'm perceiving as a tassel. And I think I really like that like blue that I put in the globe. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that. There's still 2 minutes left, which is a lot of time in my opinion. I'm going to use some of this gray, and I will be able to put in a little bit of that pencil again. So I always like to also, when I'm drawing like this, I like to try to tie in the colors, like bring them together so that all the objects have a little bit of the same color palette. And so I'll usually spend some time at some point like trying to tie in the colors. So highly recommend. If you want to have like your composition feel kind of like cohesive, especially when you're drawing objects that are just like randomly, you know, placed within the composition. Like if you're doing a sketchbook spread, like I do these sketchbook spreads, like I just draw whatever I want to and I put them all together in the page. So sometimes because they're just like randomly placed, they can feel a little bit like, I don't know, just really different from one another. And so that can be helpful in helping them like feel cohesive and tied together, make the work feel cohesive. You watched the summer creative retreat today. I'm so happy to hear that. It was so much fun to do food journaling. I'm so glad you liked it. Yes, I really like it too. I mean, honestly, it's like you'll always have subject matter if you are drawing your meals, you know? It's not always easy. Like there's some things that you'll be drawing and that you'll be like, wow, this is like really hard to draw. Especially things that don't have a lot of shape or form. Like it's one thing to draw like a hamburger, but it's another thing to draw like a bowl of soup, you know? That can be like really challenging. And so I always try to just aim for like draw so that it kind of represents what you're going for, even if it's not exact, right? But I'm not really like, I don't really push myself ever to do anything too precise. There are some cases or some instances when I've had to do things that are a little bit more like realistic looking, and I will do that sometimes, but and sometimes I'm like proud of myself for doing that, but I also don't want to do that in my regular practice. Not usually. Okay. So the 5-minute tassel maybe. Now I'm going to skip over to another page, but before I do that, I always like to do a little stamp the date so we keep track of it, and then I'm going to put just a little title here so we have this here. So this is going to be our live stream. Oh, good. I think that's, I didn't get to see that one, but I'm planning to watch them like maybe over the weekend so that way I can see like everything everybody else was doing. Cause I only went to like maybe 2 or 3 of the workshops. I've just been kind of busy with other stuff, like preparing to go back to school, but I'm really looking forward to digging into them. There was like, the ones I saw were really, really cool. I'm going to put here, Dark Academia. I don't know why I always feel like I'm going to misspell this. Like, it reminds me of macadamia. Okay. So this is just our warm-ups. And I'm going to skip over that chair. Boy, she's rough. Okay, so I'm going to go to the back here, and you can see that. Let's come up a little bit higher. There you go. Okay, you can see that, like, the photo was really dense. It had a lot of stuff. So we're going to scoot on over to another one. Let me see if I can make this fit a little bit better. So sorry. There we go. I think that will stay there. I think that's good. You need to do her challenge session. It was neat and totally put me to sleep with the music. Oh, really? Which one was that one? Challenge session. Yeah, I'm going to need to go. The vintage phones. Oh, that's so cute. I don't know why I automatically thought stamps, like vintage stamps. Yeah, but I'm going to have to look for that. Elizabeth, I don't want to give you more work, but can you tell me a little bit more about where that challenge session is? Was it during this summer creative retreat? Okay, I have the image up. It was at 2 p.m. Okay, from today. Okay, that is good to know. I will go look for it. Is that the same one that you're talking about, Kenner, that was like the vintage phone, or no? Okay, so for this next one, since it's going to be definitely a little bit more involved, I'm going to do a 10-minute timer, which is still pretty short if you think about it. It's just a little bit longer than our previous one. So we're going to put 10 minutes on the clock, and I have the figure up, and you can choose to draw the full figure, or you can choose to just select like certain areas. I think it'd be really nice to draw like the scarf shape, or even to draw The shoes is what I drew earlier, and they were challenging. I'm not going to lie about that. But I'm going to try and do just like the figure. We'll see if I can mostly get this figure in here in this time. Like, the figure is really like, kind of like, I don't know, the bulk of the clothing is pretty bulky, so it kind of, you know, masks traditional figure drawing, which can be good, especially if you're feeling like, I can't do figures are not my jam. I mean, this figure is like bulky. There's like a lot of fabric, like all of this fabric around the neck. Like, you don't really even get a pretty traditional shape of the head. Like, you don't really get to see neck, really. The hair is just right there on the side. But I mean, this fit is so good. I mean, if it were ever cold where I lived, this is what I would like to think I would dress like. This is my fantasy. It's so good. Enter with an open mind. Oh, now I am very curious and really excited. Oh, that's so good to know. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm drawing figures like this, I also like just try to think about, like, especially when you see things like the feet that can be really challenging when they're like pointed at you. Just think about them as shapes, like the line, the shape of this like foot goes in this direction. Try to think about them as just like shapes and think about the directions that those shapes go. Instead of thinking so much about like, oh, this foot is popping out at me, how do I draw that? Because that can be really overwhelming. Yeah, like there's a lot of like bulk around here. Like there's an extra little bag here. So I have a very vague figure shape. Oh, it doesn't get very cold here. I mean, Texas is huge, right? So just so you know, like it's like one of the largest states in the union, I guess. So it is massive. So I live in South Texas, so it is very hot in South Texas, and it will be completely different. Like, it rarely ever will snow in South Texas, but it snows pretty regularly in the winter in North Texas. So North Texas will get, you know, freezing temperatures pretty often, and we get it rarely. So this summer it's been very, very hot. It has been, you know, and actually, to be very honest, I think it's been a little cooler than average. Like, it has not been as hot as it usually is in South Texas in the summer. We are very much accustomed to temperatures that are Fahrenheit. I don't think I know Celsius for this, but Fahrenheit 100 degrees, 108 degrees, 109 degrees, things like that. But like, you know, if you go to like North Texas, even like if you go like 200 miles away from where I live, it's going to be like pretty much the same temperature. It's going to be still in the hundreds, maybe the 90s. But if you go to like North Texas, it's probably still pretty hot right now. But I do think that they'll have very, very different weather than what we have. And if you go east from where I live in Texas, and you're still in Texas, but if you head east, you're going to get a lot more like humidity and a lot more rain. So we don't get a lot of rain. We're always in like drought conditions here. We're always like conserving for droughts. But there's like, you know, Houston, for instance, gets a lot of rain. Like they're just hurricane after hurricane and tornado. Like they're just constantly, it seems like in the summer, they're constantly being beat by tornadoes and hurricanes. It's just like one thing after another. I always go, like, my family lives there, and I'm like, why do you still live here? It's just, I would move. I would literally move. You have winter and it goes down to minus 30. I could never. I don't think I could do it, Elise. And I know, I think, Elise, you're in Canada, right? So, I mean, I would love, like, what's warm in Canada? Like, what part of Canada stays kind of warm? Would we say like the East Coast area? Because I know like New York is like, it's cold, but since they're on the water, I feel like it's not as cold. And I'm wondering if that's what the situation would be for like Canada, because it's so cold there. I'm assuming. I mean, obviously, I've never been, but it is on my list. I really want to go. And I remember my daughter, it was so funny, when she was in elementary school, she was like really interested in Canada. Like, I remember they had to pick like a country to study, and she chose Canada. And we were like, well, you know, that's great. You know, it's different, but it's very like American. You know, I feel like we're very similar because we're in the same, like, you know, we're both in North America. I just feel like we're very similar. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, I feel like sometimes, you know, we'll be like, oh, they're American or they Canadian. I mean, I think we're kind of in the same vein, but I know it can be very different. So I'm just not like sure, because it's huge. It's also huge. Hi, Jessica. British Columbia would be more like the Pacific Northwest, so more mild. Okay, and then oh, okay, so Jessica, you said that you went on a 16-day road trip. It was so hot, and in September. But you loved it. You drove from Wisconsin to South Padre. That is impressive. I am impressed. That is so far. Wow. And South Padre, like even South Padre for me, and I'm in South Texas, is pretty far for me. So I'm like, I mean, Texas is massive. So I always like talk to people who are like in Europe. I remember meeting like my cousin's her in-laws, and I was like, oh, well, that's so great, because you know, like London's just like, they're from England, and it's just like a 3-hour drive from you guys. How convenient. And she was like, no, 3 hours is a really long time for us to drive. Like, we don't drive 3 hours. And in Texas, well, 3 hours will just get you to like, you're still in South Texas from where I live. You know, it's still pretty, I mean, it doesn't really get you very far. So it can be kind of like crazy. It's just, it's massive. I feel like you'd be driving 12 hours and you're still not out of Texas. Your Floridian kids were also obsessed with Canada. Yeah, my daughter was obsessed with Canada. Elizabeth and Jessica. Okay. Yeah, I think, you know, it just, when you're in a very big country like that, I think like Canada will qualify for that too. It's huge. Like, there's just so many different, like, you know, the regions are all going to have different weather conditions, and so you just don't, you can't be like, oh, well, all Canada is going to be the same, right? Or like even with Texas, like it's just very different. Yeah, it depends. You're in Montreal. Oh, that's nice. 86 degrees in the summer. Ugh, that's beautiful. I'm here for that. I wish it was 86 degree in the summer here. Yeah, I mean, 86, it was 86 for a couple of days, and it was mostly because we were having a cooler than average temperature. I believe they were saying that we were having a cold front. And that's how cold it was. It was in the 80s. And we were grateful, like, don't get me wrong, because it's just pretty brutal. Like, I know in other countries, like, they don't have, like, central air conditioning and things like that, and so it's not like, if it gets really hot, like it's really hard, but like in Texas, I think you kind of like have to have it. Like, I can't even imagine. Like, remember when my air conditioner wasn't working? Oh God, that was rough. And I will be I'm the kind of person that I will tell you, like, I actually like the heat. It is 1 minute to the timer. I like the heat, so I don't know if I want to put any pencil on this. I kind of really like it just like that. So I might just use these 2 markers because I like the way they look together. Yeah, I really love the heat. I'm definitely not a cold weather person. I'm very sensitive to the cold. So if it's, you know, in the 50s, like that is proper winter for me. 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm just like, you know, I need a full jacket. I'm very cold. And I know that there's people, I remember going to Boston and it was 50 degrees, 40 degrees, and people were just running outside in like shorts and a t-shirt. You know, it was like a beautiful day. And I just couldn't understand that. Yeah, also for you, Elizabeth, right? It is so cold up where you are too, but not lately. How what has been your temperature? It was hot here Friday and Saturday, and your AC broke in the van this weekend. Oh no. Yeah, it's so it's muggy for you guys because you guys are on the lakes or where are you like? Is there a body of water nearby you? Okay, so that was our 10-minute. Oh, I forgot this little bag. I'm actually kind of sad. Okay, so there's a 10-minute. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw the calendar, but we're gonna do like kind of some figure drawing. I think I mentioned it on there, right? Did I put that on there? Maybe it was just a thought in my head. I have a lot of thoughts in my head, and sometimes I don't write them down, and then I'm like, oh, I could have sworn I said that. Your cousin bikes to work in Minneapolis in negative degrees. I mean, I respect that so much because I could never. I'm such a wimp with the cold weather. Like, my hands will, if my hands are cold, I'm already like cranky. And I want to do the one with all the pictures. Hold on, right? I think it's this one, yeah. And if my nose starts running, oh no, I'm already cranky again. Okay, so we have this next image, and I think there's a lot of good stuff here that you can kind of just like play with. You can like include like the violin here, and then the candle there, and then the clock there. And so you can kind of pick and choose. The only things I don't like about photos like this is that they don't come with any shadows, which it's perfect for a sticker, but it's not helpful if you want to include that in your drawing. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. Pick what you like from here. I would say let's do maybe like a couple of drawings here since I'm starting with a new spread. Like I have lots of room. And then the other images, just so that I can show you and you'll be able to see real quick, is that one. So if you think you might want to include like a little pumpkin, you might want to just keep that in mind. And then the other one is, okay, take that one away. No, we already did that one. Can't find the other one. Okay. It's that one. So they look so similar. Let's just play it by ear. We'll see whatever we have room for. And if we don't have room anymore at some point, we'll just stop. It's not the end of the world. There's lots of things, nothing, wait, there are lots, but nothing to make a difference. It was upper 80s, lower 90s, which is pretty normal. Oh, but storms brew quick. Yeah. Yeah. And we don't get a lot of storms. Like, oh, I would love a storm right now. That would be so nice. It rained the other day, like out of the blue. Just started raining suddenly, and okay, so I'm gonna, just so you know, I'm gonna start the timer, and we're gonna do a 10-minute, and you can pick whichever one of these you want. I'm gonna do the plant at the bottom, so 10 minutes, which is actually quite a bit of time. Yeah, so we don't get a lot of rain because again, we're always in like conservation. Right now we're like really in conservation. We're in stage 3 conservation, which just means like basically we don't have water and we can't be watering. They really don't want us like watering yards, not with like sprinkler systems or anything like that. They're just like, please don't water anything. And it's like, okay. So, you know, like the other day, my gardener, he sent me a message and he's like, you need to water your front yard. And I was like, I know, but the city says I can't. So I think the grass is just going to die. Like, we're just going to lose it. It's just, I mean, honestly, grass, I always feel like survival of the fittest, you know. I love the way my grass looks, you know. And my dad was a big, like, grass person. So he put grass in his yard a few years before, actually it was like maybe like 1 year or 2 years before he died. And he was so proud of the yard. He was so proud of it. And so then I put grass too because we're neighbors. And it's so expensive. It's so expensive to maintain. It looks nice, but it's just like in Texas, it's not native, and it's, you know, honestly, you know, not really natural for grass to be able to thrive. You know, we need to be, I think we need to, like, at some point I'm going to have to face the facts that I might have to get rid of it. Like, it might just be something that we can't continue to maintain. It's just not like practical, and it's not good for the environment to be using so much water for something like grass when, you know, people need it to drink and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see when that happens, because I've already talked about it. But, you know, of course my gardener, he doesn't want me to do that because he gets to come and mow my yard all the time. So we'll see. But oh, I really wish I would have made room for this little guy here. I didn't. Okay, I'm gonna see if we can make it work. I'm just gonna draw right over it. When you're using something like acrylic markers, it's really convenient, because if you make a mistake, like I didn't make room for that, you could just draw over it and it just hides whatever's underneath it. But with these markers, you can definitely see what's under. So it's good to kind of plan out what you want to include, but it's okay. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Usually, I notice that, you know, things don't really, it's not like super clear when you have like little mistakes like that, but you have a lot of like drawings, or you have a lot of like texture. You can't really see those little mistakes. It's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I don't know why we were talking about grass, but I do think that I should put like, you know, like I have these like shrubs that are so beautiful, and they're called Texas sage, or we call them cenizo in Spanish. And they get so beautiful when it's about to rain. Like, they get these full of purple flowers. And they're pretty drought tolerant, and they don't need a lot of water. And so I feel like maybe that's going to be where I'm going to move towards, you know, doing a little bit more of those kind of plants versus sustaining the grass, because it's just not practical. Okay, so this little vase jar thingamajig has some light on it, so I want to maybe try to capture some of that. We'll see if I can. And so I'll just leave some spaces open so that way they don't have any color on them, and then they'll hopefully read as being light on there. Okay, I'm using another shade of green. This darker one is 98, just to define some of the spaces between the leaves. Now, on the first drawing that I did over here, I did not do any pencil. So I think what that means is that I'm not going to do any pencil again. Like, we're definitely not going to include it. So I'm going to try to do a little bit more definition with markers. So what the difference is just going to be that now, since I don't have the pencil to lean on for that like quick dark, the quick line work, what you're going to want to do if you're going to do something similar to what I'm doing is you're going to want to develop those values a little bit more by just increasing the values. So like adding more darks, and then keeping those lights a little bit lighter. So let me see if I can add some of this. I want some more dark greens on these leaves. Use them to separate. And I think maybe another green would be good too, to incorporate. I put that little bit there, but let me do a little more here. It's dark, but there's some more light over here. Just feel like that symmetry is not there yet. I can probably put some of this in there too. I would like a dark green if I have it. Ooh, I do. Let's add this in there. We have 4 minutes, so it's still lots of time, I think. Looking for those dark areas. Trying to refrain from doing like outlines on everything. I want to just look for the areas that seem like they have dark bits underneath them, or like a lot of contrast, and I'll try to include the dark on just those areas. Like right here where they come in contact with one another, but not all the way around. There. I feel like I could use a little more green in some of these. And then maybe some more brown in the little vase. And this is a different shade. Hopefully creates a little bit more value. I want to keep a little bit of all the other colors that I've already included, so I'm not trying to cover any of them all the way up. And the bottom is a little bit lighter, so I'm going to leave that. This one I think should be darker in there. It's kind of odd, but I kind of feel like I'm going to do a little bit of this purple, right, as like just a dark color. So I'm just going to do a little bit, not much. I do feel like I need some of that over here. There's like a lot of color there and not a lot here. So maybe I'll add some in. This is just a green. It looks kind of like the taupey kind of color that I already used. Maybe I'll come back and put some more of that on the pant. I'll leave it like that for now because I'm not even looking at a reference. Bye, Elise. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good night. All right, that was time. That was 10 minutes. I feel like a 10-minute plant. I think it's kind of like safe to assume that we're going to have something around 10 minutes for all of these. So I think we can still do like 2 more. So I think I kind of want to stay on this image if that's okay with everybody. I would encourage you to pick another one. I think I'm going to do the stack of books, the 2 books that are like kind of like stacked in the middle. And then I'm going to put that like here-ish. So that's going to be another 10-minute session. So 10 minutes on the clock. Pick a second image and let's draw. Let's see if we can get this to go in the right direction. This can be really hard, like perspective. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I think for this next one, I want it to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go a little larger here. And because I know that perspective can be a little challenging, I'm going to try to draw them like straight through each other. So something like this, just to kind of make sense of where, see, no, that would have been, ooh, I don't like that. That's a lot. Hold on. Let me see if I can, like my brain, my eye tells me to do one thing and then my brain is telling me not to do that. And so I'm struggling here because I can see that this corner needs to dip below that one, but I just don't think I can get it to go that low. I'm gonna try, we'll see. We will see. We will see how this turns out. So then that means that this goes a little bit more like this. And this one goes over here. here. That one's gonna stay like that. Okay. Okay, 2 books. It still looks a little funny to me. We'll see if I can fix it, if we can figure it out. No promises because I'm already feeling a little concerned. Wait, one more thing. I did notice that it goes a little bit further here. Maybe that'll help. Okay. Let's try to make it make sense here. So we got the 2 books. The person ended up looking like a marble statue, right? It does kind of look kind of marbly, but like imagine if people made marble statues of like modern looking forms or modern looking like attire. That'd be so cool. Maybe someone's already done that. I have to go down a little lower here, so I'm going to try to change it. Okay, so this curves this way. These books are so beautiful. This feels so much, it reminds me a lot of those like Archer and Olive journals that you got, Elizabeth, that I think you had posted about them. Pretty sure I saw it from you and not necessarily on the Archer and Olive page. I'm pretty sure I saw yours. And because I think by the time I had seen it, like they were sold out, and I think I got to see it because you had gotten them. Because I think they went fast, right? Isn't there some sort of like library style editions of their journals that they made fairly recently? Let's see, I like this little there. So I'm going to do this like basically where there's shadow. Yes, they are. They have a new collection coming Friday at 9. And I think I saw it. Was it the one? Let me try to think. I'm trying to remember what it was. And I don't know if you had mentioned it and I saw it. And I was thinking about getting some, but I just haven't been able to. Well, I'm telling myself not to buy any until I use all the ones I have. Okay, there is a subscription box. Okay, so you have to have a subscription, right? That's cool. Yeah, if any of you guys have like not tried Archer and Olive journals, like they are really great. They're a little on the pricey end, but they are really great paper. I used them for a long time at the beginning of my drawing process. Like when I had first started my like daily practice again, I used them for a really long time. And Elizabeth is an affiliate. So Elizabeth, you can drop your affiliate code so we can get a discount if we want to buy some from you. I mean, from Archer and Olive. But I mean, even there, and you know, when I went over there, I think the one that I was looking for, remember, I don't know if you've been following for that long, Elizabeth, but like one of the things that I was drawing when I first started to kind of get like pick up a little steam on Instagram, and like I started to like get a lot more followers, was when I was drawing in their craft books with acrylic markers. And I looked for them. They don't have the craft books anymore. I was surprised to see that. I guess maybe they weren't as popular as I thought they were. But I used several of their craft books. Like I really liked SMA 10. Okay, perfect. On select products. Okay, cool. Nice. The new collection is called Antique Treasures. Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar, so I'm not sure if I saw that one. I might need to go check them out. I really like them because the paper is like 160 GSM. So it's very thick, and you could use these like water-based markers on them without a problem. Like they didn't really have any bleed through. But I liked to use my, what were they? The acrylic markers. And I also would paint in them, and they just held up really, really well to that. So I definitely love them. I haven't bought one in a long time, and I used my last one already. But I'm hoping that once I use up all the sketchbooks that I have right now, the next one that I get will probably be an Archer and Olive, because I haven't had one in a while. And they're just really they're just really well crafted books. They are beautifully crafted. They're very sturdy. They're very like durable. I like the ones with the linen cover. They feel like kind of old-fashioned-y. Like these books are really beautiful, but when you see a lot of like detail on them, like sometimes I don't want to draw all that, right? So I'll tell you what I do. Usually I just kind of imply it. I don't know if I just did this recent like live on Instagram, and I was drawing a bag, like a Louis Vuitton bag, and it had, you know, all that pattern, and I just didn't want to draw all this pattern, but I wanted to kind of imply it. So sometimes when I have a lot of stuff like this, I will just make up some like implied areas, and I pull some things out from there. So I'll look at the designs, and I will, you know, pull out some big things like that middle section, but then the rest of it I'll kind of invent. And they are, you know, definitely inspired by what I'm seeing, but I'm making like an abbreviation of it. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing all of that stuff. I will just do some abbreviated versions of it, just to kind of get that like feel. I want it to feel like an old book. Let me add some green in because I don't have any green in there. So I'll do a little bit on the pages over here. Do a little bit on these pages. I just want it to feel a little bit more, maybe not that green there. Let's try a different one. I just want maybe this one to look like it's got a different color of the spine. Like that wasn't it. I'm going to put a little bit of value here to make it look like it's sitting on this other book. Trying to make that other little book look like it's below. And there's less than a minute remaining, so we're going to try to bring that to completion. I'm going to take some of this dark green. I'm a little worried I'm kind of going a little too into this page. Like, what I mean by that is that there's a lot of marker on here, and it's gonna like tear through. There. A little bit bigger. Make this like the cover. And this cover's actually like, you know, it's got a little bit of white edges, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, that was fun. And then I think we'll do one more before we wrap up. Let's see. Should we switch over to a new image, or do we like something else from here? Because I think I could draw that little like pen in the ink. That would be nice. Or the little camera, or that little journal would be cute too. Or the candle. I think I should do the candle. No, I'm going to do the pen again. I already drew that once, but I like it. Yeah, I think the dark brown did add a lot, right? And I even used this dark green on this one, right on the edge, just to really like separate the books. Yeah, I think maybe even that key would be kind of simple. That would be kind of like a faster drawing. Let's do, okay, I got a plan. Let's see. I kind of want to do the key here. Okay, no worries. Bye, Elizabeth. Have a great night. I will talk to you soon. Thanks for being here. Bye. Okay, so I think I'm going to do the key. I just feel like I need something kind of vertical. I'll do the key. The key I feel like is going to be kind of fast. So I'm going to do 5 minutes. Let's see if we can do this in 5 minutes. I'm going to do I always say I hate symmetry, and then I purposefully choose things that have a lot of symmetry. Okay, let's see if we can. Oh, there was supposed to be an emptiness in here. Oops. Let's see. So there's like an opening there. Let's just see if I can like develop it without and like really develop that, because I can already tell that that may cause some little issues for me. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, I also forgot this little shape here. Okay. A bit. Okay. I was like, this would be pretty easy. We only need 5 minutes. Famous last words. Okay, so I'm going to try to really like pull out that shape a little bit more, because I accidentally like bulldozed over it. So we'll try that. We're just going to pretend that that space is not colored in and see if we can just ignore it until it starts to like disappear into the background. It's like wishful thinking. But honestly, I do feel like if I continue to develop all the other parts, like it is, and I don't do anything there, it probably will stop looking so noticeable in a few, maybe. We shall see. So don't be afraid or intimidated if you make a big mistake like that. It's not that serious. Okay. I'm going to use some of that green again for my darks instead of using like black or even the blue, because I have green in the other areas, and so I want it to feel cohesive. Just looking for those darks and redrawing right on top of those areas. I love the little crispy sounds of the brush. I do feel like I need something darker. So I'm going to just come back in with that dark green, the same one that I used right there, and see if I can just add the slightest, skinniest little accents where I feel like there's the darkest bits. I don't want to go all the way around. I want to look for those dark spaces and just really aim for that. So I'll put some of this dark green on some parts, and then other parts will get like, they won't have any, and it's just because I'm looking for those areas that already have the darkness. And that's what I'm trying to record. There. Right here, there's a lot of that. Okay, now it's time. I don't know, it's weird because it's like a key, but it doesn't really look like a key to me, especially because it's like out of context. So it is what it is. But I think that's like good. If I have like more time, I'm gonna come back and I think work on this one a little bit so that I can incorporate some of those colors that I used in these, but I didn't use here. And I think that would help it to feel a little bit more cohesive. And if I get a chance, I'm going to maybe do like another one. I think it would be nice to have like one of those little seals here. But I think we're going to call it a day for today. So today we did like a bunch of warm-ups. These are very loose. I think that was good. I don't really like this chair. Let's not look at that. But I think, you know, it was part of the process. It's fine. And then these were a little bit longer, but still, you know, pretty fast drawings. So I'm pretty happy about that because, again, I've been feeling very tight and I will work very slow and very like labored if I don't give myself parameters, guidelines to kind of keep myself from drawing forever on something. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this one right here, and I'll probably make sure to, let me get this put away real quick. Take a picture of it the way it is. I always like to take a picture of the way that it ends at the end of our live stream, and then a picture of what I do in addition. So if I add some more images, I do feel like I would like some things to kind of fill in these spaces. I don't know what they'll be yet, but I will definitely show you that on Patreon as well. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over here so that we can say goodnight. There we go. Let's get that out of the way. Thank you guys so much for being here and for drawing with me and keeping me company while we were drawing. I hope you did some work in your sketchbook and that you feel like happy and like it was good for you, because it was definitely good for me. I think it kind of helped with my Sunday scaries. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week this week, and check out the Patreon because we have plans coming up for the rest of the month, and we do have another club meet scheduled closer to the end of the month. So I'm excited to draw some more with you this month and draw things all inspired by this kind of like back to school kind of like inspo. So you guys have a wonderful week this week, and we will talk soon. Bye.